Hey everyone, this is Ren the Bird Tamer coming with another video for you. So, honestly, I started rewatching Naruto Shippuden and I kind of noticed a few things that I didn't notice before, nor did I really think about until I saw those scenes again. But, yeah, let's give the old spoiler warning first before we get, any farther into it. There's going to be some very heavy, heavy spoilers here. So, if you have not seen all the way through Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, you should not be watching this. You guys have been warned. Okay, so like I said, I was rewatching Shippuden and I've noticed something pretty interesting. This is gonna be my observation or, opinion here, but you never know. I could be wrong on it. So, the whole Ren's death thing is something that a lot of anime fans, all anonymously agree with. Or not anonymously, but, we all agree that, Ren's death definitely caused all these wars and all these people to die. But did we ever stop and think that maybe it wasn't just Ren, that caused this whole nasty process? Because even though Ren does not notice Obito, and she's more into Kakashi, and in a way, her obsession with Kakashi also makes this pretty bad. So, it could have been avoided, in my opinion. The whole Obito dying thing, and then having to give Kakashi his eye to save Ren. But, yeah, I think if they had actually just stopped and actually talked about this whole love triangle, and it would have been painful, but at least maybe they would have somewhat backed off each other and just focused on the mission. And heck, if they had, gotten over their crushes and, found other people, they would be much happier. Unfortunately, instead, as we all know, Bito and Kakashi continue to go at odds with each other. And, well, a lot of it's just the jealousy from, Kakashi getting all Ren's attention. And Kakashi, who was, the son of the White Fang of the Leaf, is more rigorous and more into rules. So, when they find themselves in trouble and get ambushed by enemy shinobi, they barely have any time to react at all after, eventually Obito had convinced Kakashi to follow him, with the old ninja who abandon a mission are scum, but those who abandon their friends are lower than scum. And Kakashi realizes that his friend is right, and then, he goes to Russian to help them. And then that's when things get even worse. Obito is crushed, and before that, Itachi. Oof, not Itachi. Ugh, what am I saying? Jeez. No, not Itachi. When Kakashi gets hurt because he's trying to protect Obito, later gives him the eye to protect Ren after he's crushed with the boulder. So, this is where everything gets extremely messy. Because they believe that Obito is dead. And then later on, Kakashi and Ren are, on missions together, and somehow Ren gets kidnapped and forced to take in the three-tail beast. so that she can become the Jinchuriki of the enemy ninjas. And Kakashi, goes after to try and save her, but he, quote, end quote, well, no. Yeah, so he unintentionally kills her. Like, he was being controlled by a genjutsu or whatever, but he just punches her right through the chest. And unfortunately, Obito sees this. Miraculously, he had actually survived being crushed by the rock because an old Uchiha, was hanging around there. Good old Marta saves his life and warns him that it's not going to be the same with his friends. And he doesn't listen to him and runs off to find his friends. And he catches Kakashi in the middle of killing Rin. And from his perspective, he believes that Kakashi betrayed Rin and killed her because of that. But like we all know, it's because he's he's being controlled to kill her. And, she's allowing it because she doesn't want to be a Jinchuriki. So, if I remember, either she asked or he just does it. But, yeah, so Obito sees Ren's death. He screams out her name, runs out to the field, yada yada yada, goes berserk because she's dead. And helps Marta with trying to get back at the Leaf Village for what they did to him. And yeah, going back to the whole Senju and Uchiha clan just being at war with each other, back and forth, being commissioned by enemy ninjas from either, like this, either the Sanju or the Uchiha clan. They're always fighting each other, getting commissions, they're getting paid to take out each other, and in different countries. And then they just all get tired of, back and forth, fighting back and forth. So the Sanju and the Uchiha make an agreement to not fight each other anymore, made their own villages and stuff. Of course, because Marta did not agree with this sort of thinking, he tried to get everybody to follow him again. And this just, got people to ignore him. And he leaves, get it? That was not intentional. He leaves the village because he feels betrayed by them. And yeah, so his whole past with the Uchiha and then just, being ignored because he sounds like some crazy person. He ends up fighting Hiroshima, the first Hokage of the Leaf Village. And, the old Final Valley thing. So they basically do the same thing that Naruto and Sasuke do many, many years later. So, yeah, he fights Hiroshima. Hiroshima thinks he's killed Marta. So Marta's still alive. That brings us back to Marta trying to convince Obito that nothing's going to be the same, which he was correct on, since one of Obito's friends is, and love interest is dead, and the other one killed her. So the Sharingan is fairly dangerous, though, because, if a user falls in love and then they lose them, they can go berserk and become a pretty scary weapon. And that's another reason why the Uchiha were oppressed in the Leaf, because they're afraid of their abilities. But to that in a second. So Marta had somehow survived, healed himself up, and was just biding his time. And of course, when nothing went Obito's way, he just, he helped the poor kid. Well, he shouldn't have. He didn't technically help, quote unquote. It was more of just subtle manipulation. And so Obito started to work with him. In revenge, they released the Nine-Tailed Beast. and just trying to destroy the village as a vendetta, to what Marta personally believed the leaf did to him. And in turn, this chain reaction causes, Naruto's parents to die to protect him and everyone else. It just, continues. Ruka's parents die as well. And it's just a vicious, vicious cycle triggered by one person's love and obsession for someone else. I mean, of course, he didn't know the whole details. And for years and years, he's resented Kakashi. But, yeah, I mean, the whole bloody chain just keeps on going. Because Orochimaru's parents die, he becomes a freak, and sadly, Jiraiya kind of had the same thing like Naruto did with Sasuke, except Jiraiya was never successful, and Orochimaru just kept slinking into the darkness. Slinkety slink. Yeah, he's always been freaking creepy. Yeah, so there's, a few things here and there. Jiraiya takes in the orphans and, Konoha and Nagato and what's his face. And he teaches them, but they turn on him, causing, more pain. Because after he had left, things just went, to Brazil in a handbasket. So Jiraiya dies because of their actions, and Pain dies because, of that action of killing him. Like, they literally stabbed Jiraiya in the back, so I'm just like, ugh. And, because the Akatsuki exist, because of their ambitions of causing peace with destruction first. I mean, they made the whole Akatsuki organization, and the Akatsuki are why Asuma is not around anymore, because he killed him. And I must admit that when Shikamaru got his revenge, it was so satisfying. And he was kind of awesome. It was just like, I am your god now, so die. God, it was so freaking cool. Anyway, enough fangirling over Shikamaru. So yeah, a whole lot of other things happen because of this whole obsession with Rin. Neji dies, of course, protecting Naruto because, Naruto is important to Hinata and the whole Leaf Village. Because he's probably one of the strongest besides, Kakashi and Tsunade. But, yeah. Thanks to all this war and just this whole chain of revenge, a lot of people die, all because of selfish reasons, and just terrible. Absolutely, positively terrible. Right, so the third dies, obviously everybody's seen that, because of Orochimaru, and thanks to his parents dying, he goes wacko, and then poor Konohamaru, who just feels that, like, his grandfather's just not there anymore, he just really, really is hurt by that. And then, of course, when he's older, he wants to get revenge for his grandfather and his uncle. But, that it doesn't come around. So, yeah. And then Kurenai doesn't have anyone to help her because, well, Asuma's dead, and Shikamaru is supposed to be like the godfather or something, I don't know. Oh, yeah, and then just, after the war with Pain, and they think everything's fine, and then they get smack dab in another war, fighting this dang Ten Tails. I think it's been a while since I've watched that, but Yeah, there's just a lot of things that happened. I wrote down a whole lot over here, but just trying to summarize it so that we're not here all day. Yeah. So, I mean, my whole point is, yeah, Ren was the catalyst, or one of the catalysts to all this war and revenge. But I mean, the Leaf had fault in it too, because they feared the Chiha, and they've actually they just kept him at arm's length, kept him away from the main buildings in the village, and of course they would get indignant because of the treatment that they're getting. Being treated like monsters creates monsters. So, I mean, yeah. Out of indignation, the Uchiha tried to make a coup d'etat, but because Itachi, who is in the ranks and is a spy, relays that to the third. This was before Orochimaru kills him, of course, but yeah, and I mean, even though like the whole village is his family, he makes this difficult choice and orders Itachi to kill all the Uchiha because of the coup d'etat that they're planning. And I mean, there was there was a choice because they made this legendary clan into monsters by discriminating and thinking they were monsters. So, yeah, they basically got what they thought they were. And, yeah, so poor Itachi. This is another part of that stupid bloody chain of revenge thing. So Itachi has to kill everyone, his parents, his grandparents, the shopkeepers, and even his own girlfriend, which is probably one of the most painful besides killing his parents. And then, of course, he acts like the villain to get Sasuke to come after him. Even though Itachi's actually the hero, though he's treated like an evil, evil villain for like most of the show. And then in turn Sasuke does manage to kill his brother, but he doesn't feel any satisfaction. Then good old Maruda, who's got the freaking silver tongue of a snake, convinces Sasuke to help him as well. And it's just vice versa all the way around all this because Obito could not let go of Ren. And like I said, I really wonder, or I thought maybe I didn't say it, but I really wonder what would have happened if they actually talked and they just figured it out and listened to other people's or their own feelings. And I know it's like in the middle of a war, but if they had like a little bit of free time, they should have, tried to address it. Because, I mean, it's obvious. I think everyone knows that Obito was head over heels for Ren. And Kakashi tells her that when he's trying to protect her. And, I mean, she does one of the most uncool things after he tells her that Obito, apparently he's a girl, Obito truly cared for her. And she's like, but I like you. And Kakashi's like, well, yeah, no, because I almost abandoned you. I'm scum. Don't bother with me. Yeah. Like this whole thing is just an awful, awful mess. I actually kind of wonder, I said wonder twice now. I'm actually kind of wondering if maybe they had stepped away from each other. Perhaps they could have found peace somewhere else. I wonder where Obito would have ended up if he just had let go of Ren. I'm sure there was some nice girl somewhere that, maybe would have liked him for who he was, not because he was an Uchiha, or that he's a big fat dork. But I mean, Ren probably would have found someone better too. I think most of it, well, at least in Obito's case, I think he actually loved her and it wasn't just infatuation. On the other hand, Ren only liked Kakashi because he was really, really cool and powerful. And all the ladies like him. And that's why that stupid mask is for, just to protect how. Well, actually, I think I have seen his face before. But, yeah, for the longest time, his face is, like, covered, and it's just really funny because everyone's trying to figure out. But, yeah, like, these are my thoughts, and, I mean, I could be wrong, but, I mean, it wasn't just Ren's death that really messed this up. It was, like, a big part of it. But when you really think about it, other events kind of made it, roll, down the hill faster until it's just a snowball of trouble and revenge, and it's just awful. And another thing, I mean, I shouldn't have laughed, when um when Sasuke had talked to Marta, and he just foolishly fell into his state of mind, and I mean, he was completely manipulated by those stupid, sweet honey covered words. So he's going to defeat the Leaf, of course, because no one else can figure out another, thing for them to do. It's mostly the Leaf Village that's always being attacked. But, I mean, I'm laughing not because the Leaf Village is gone, but the fact that Sasuke says he's going to destroy it, but it's already messed up, and I'm like, boy, what are you going to do? It's already destroyed. You can't destroy it more because it's already destroyed. And it's it's just a dark humor thing. It's just like, I don't know how he's going to destroy something that's already messed up. And, I mean, yeah. With all that, we can, all agree that Pain is one of the coolest villains, even if he was kind of a big old jerk and destroyed the village. Yeah, but he, as skewered as his reasons were, he did have some reasons. It just wasn't the best way to go. Yeah. So that's basically my thoughts. If you think that I could be wrong, or maybe I'm correct, just put your comments down below. I'd be happy to listen. But, yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the matter. Ren the Bird Tamer out.